Hello, I'm Stuart Bloor. I've just arrived water's edge and I'm about to put some bait out now. I'm fishing with boilies, pop-ups, M1 over loose boilies, also pellets as well. I like the coordinated approach, so the pellets are M1, and I've got some Flamino ground bait, so I'm going to mix everything up into a nice ball, well, several balls of course, put it out there initially, and then as the day progresses, see how it goes. Always remember, if you put too much out at the beginning of the session, you can't get it back. But if you put enough out there just to bring the fish in, to get them feeding, well, you can keep it topped up on a regular basis as you go on. Why ground bait? Well, I'm after carp, of course, but there are lots and lots and lots of smaller fish in here, and I'm a great believer that a crowd attracts a crowd, not just in angling of course, but elsewhere. But certainly as far as fishing is concerned, I want to get that ground bait out there. I don't mind the small roach, the perch, the tench, whatever they may be, even the small carp, because when they come into the swim, they start feeding with confidence. The bigger fish that I'm after, that's the plan anyway. You always need a plan when you go fishing. The bigger fish will come in, they will be more confident because of the activity of the smaller fish. My rod will go, I'll get a fish on the bank. Well, let's see, shall we? I've just had a screamer, unfortunately though, the dreaded hook pull. Anyway, I'm about to cast out again. As you can see there, a couple of pop-ups. There's the hook. That did the business. Well, as far as connecting with the fish initially was concerned, but I don't get too many, fortunately, don't get too many hook pulls. So hopefully the next time you see me, I will be playing and landing a fish. Well, I said I wanted to be playing and landing a fish. I'm halfway there, 50% of the job done, because it was the other rod this time. I recast, of course, with the hook pull rod. It's the other one this time, and I've got a small common on there. And the next time you see me, hopefully, I'll be cradling it in front of the camcorder. And here you go. It's very, very lively. It was lively in the water, and it's certainly lively outside of it. Not a massive fish. I certainly caught carp bigger than this, of course, but you can only catch what's in there. And there you go, look at the colours on that. Coming out of winter, of course, it's very spring-like this side of the water's surface, but beneath it, it's still quite cold. So I'm happy to get this one on the bank, because whether you're after sticklebacks or carp, the first one of the session means that you're not a blanker. Right, let's get this one back to where it belongs right now. I just poured a cup of tea, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be cold by the time I get round to drinking it, for the simple reason that the rod that I've just had that fish on went off again. I knew there were fish out there in the swim. They do show themselves quite well on this pool. It's shallow, silty. When they get their heads down, the bubbles soon come to the surface, and I'm bringing this one in. Again, another small common. You can only catch what's in there, and I'm not complaining, because whatever the size of the fish, as far as I'm concerned, they're all very, very welcome indeed. And as before, I'm going to net it, hopefully, and the next time you see me, I will again be cradling a carp. The fish, I tell you, it's another lively one. They certainly got some energy this side of the water as well. As you can tell, I'm actually kneeling down. I've got the unhooking mat right beneath me, and you should always take this posture if you're in front of a camcorder, as I am right now, or even just taking a photograph. Never stand up when you're holding fish, especially ones of this size, because if this decides to flip and it suddenly puts a burst of energy into things, I can quickly drop it down onto the mat, as I've done now. But when you're standing up, the chances are you won't be able to keep a grip, and the fish will go crashing on the ground. That's not good. And you still see lots of anglers this day and age, with all the information that's out there, holding fish standing up before the camera. Education, that's the way forward. Not condemnation or judgmental attitudes, but education. Anyway, this one's going back right now. I'm ready to cast out again. As you can see, I've got a PVA bag there. I very rarely find myself casting long distances. You know the sort of thing, 120 yards chuck, when it's actually easier to walk around the far bank and flick it out underarm a couple of rod lengths or so. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. PVA bags, I'm a big fan. Invariably when I'm carp fishing or other species as well, I put my hook bait in a PVA bag. Not only have I got, in this case, pellets and boilies around the hook bait, but I also know that the pop-up will not be tangled. There won't be a tangle on the hair rig or the hook length when I'm casting out, because the weight of the PVA bag keeps it nice and tight between the hook and, by the way, between the lead. And by the way, there it is. Safety is the issue, and as you can see there, I've just got a little bead and a power gum stop knot, so in the unlikely event that I do get a break that side of the lead, it will come off nice and safe. That's the way forward. Anyway, let's get this one out and hopefully get another fish on the bank. There you go, very lively indeed, and also I'll tell you what, very beautiful as well into the bargain. It's got just a few scales along the top there, as you can see. Now some people call this a leather, some people, the purists, say no, it's got scales, so it's still technically a mirror carp. I'll tell you what, call it what you want, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a beautiful looking fish. And I don't know if the colours are coming out there, and I need to, as I was saying earlier, just bring the fish down a little bit. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to film this now on the mat so you can at least appreciate some of the coloration of this fish. Can you believe it? I've just had another hook pull. That's the business end there. A couple of pop-ups. Anyway, I'll tell you what, I'm going to call this video to a halt right now. It started with a hook pull, ended with one, but fortunately I had some fish in between. Anyway, out and about yourself. Tight lines.